Hello, hello, hello. What's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Good to see you in the chat. We already got some homies. Is that even a cool word anymore? Probably not. It's probably lame now, but I still use it because, yeah, I'm getting older and less popular. So, yeah, we got some people in the chat already hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up some of those. We got Tony, my man from England, my Wesleyan brother. Good to see you, man. Glad you're here hanging out. Appreciate it. We got Godwire from sunny Southern California. Beautiful country for sure. Good to see you, man. Thanks for hopping in to hang out. And we got Kobe, my man Kobe Muncie from Tennessee. Good to see you, dude. Glad you are hanging out. Sean, the Deepwater Puritan himself. What's up, man? Glad to see you in the live. I love this brother. He's a lot of fun to follow on X and has some good stuff to say. So really appreciate him. And then we got Ron McGrath here, hanging out from Sherman, Texas. All right, a fellow Texan. Good to see you, Ron. Glad you're hanging out, man. Glad you're hanging out. This is going to be fun, guys. That today the topic is might be somewhat confusing to some of you, given the thumbnail. If you're not on the platform X, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, I do want to spend time just discussing with you guys, hanging out, talking about stuff for a little bit. But the if you are on the platform X, you may have seen me. You may have seen the goofy side of Colton coming out on X a little bit. So um, so yeah, this is gonna be an interesting time to just kind of talk about some stuff that I think is interesting, and just wanted to address it live for fun and as a springboard, and we can talk about anything else after that. I'm gonna got a couple of more people popped up. We got there's Sean again. I clicked on the wrong one, but may lurk for the most part oh, that's cool, bro. Glad you're lurking. That's cool. Dr. Mike, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Glad you're back. The particular Baptist. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for jumping in. I love it. I love the name, as should be no surprise. Kobe, Christmas trio, Christmas tree. Yeah, this we'll get into that. We'll explain some of that a little bit. Uh, my man Ted, what's up, bro? This brother also great brother to follow on X. Uh, love this guy's content that he puts out there, posts and stuff, and just a friendly, kind-hearted brother. At the gym, wanted to give a quick shout out. Long live the avocado! Yeah, yeah. The emoji wars are already taking place. Um, so, oh, and Ron's not from Texas. He's visiting family. He's from Mo. What is Mo on the shorthand? I don't even. I'm terrible, guys. My brain's not working 100% today. Twice born. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Glad you're hanging out. Good. Hope you're doing well, dude. Hope you're doing well. The O Bro Show. Nothing better than some emojis in the X profile to show your fidelity to the mob. Yeah, yeah. These guys also really cool. Follow on X if you're on there, and on YouTube here. They did a really great interview with Bob the Baptist that I highly recommend you check out. If you're not following Bob the Baptist, also excellent. Caleb. But they did a great interview, and Lord willing, I'll get a chance to go hang out with these brothers at some point later on. We've been talking about it, and I think it'll be fun. I really I like what they're doing. They're having a good time with it and just having discussion. It's really good. Let's see. Jason. Hello, Colton. Rosharon, Texas. Houston suburb. Okay. Right on, Jason. Right on. Not too far from me. Not too far from me. Bob the Builder. I see. Oh, you guys are fun. And I also already got a question. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Dr. Mike is asking, what's up with the Kiwi? So I'll just kind of start talking and you guys chime in as you see fit. All right. So one of the things, and I'm going to give you the origin story of this. You know, people on X often will put emojis and stuff in their name, and for fun or whatever. It's a cool way to personalize your X account and all that. And you'll see different random ones and things like that. But several years ago, I mean, it's been a while now, when I wasn't really as active on X, to be honest, I started noticing that there were a lot of people that I had started following that had this little badger emoji in their name. And I know it just kept popping up with some of the people that I followed a lot. And I'm like, what is happening? It confuses me. And so the first, and this is going to be telling here, the first time I noticed this, it happened to be people who were Baptist. And all these Baptists were posting, or they had in their profile like the little badger. And I'm like, what is this? What does it mean? And I even asked one brother I follow on there at one point. I don't remember who it was, but I think it was Greg Kite, who, by the way, Greg Kite, great follow. He's done this podcast called Regenerated Radio, and it was really good. But I think he had a badger in his at one time, and I asked him what it means, and then it got some other dude on there with a badger said we're an elite group of 1689 Baptists who he didn't really specify too much about what he meant by that. And I just walked away going, okay, I don't understand what's really happening here. And so that was my first encounter with the emoji identification. All right. Fast forward to now that I'm a bit more active on X. A lot of the folks that I'm friends with on there that have become good friends with, I started noticing the second emoji, which you saw in the thumbnail, which is the crown. Okay. So it's the crown, and I had no idea what it meant, but I made an assumption about what it meant, okay? I assumed what it meant was something to the effect of Christ is King or something like that, which is, now has become a strange, topic in and of itself because of people who are using it in a weird way and people who aren't. And as my friend the layman apologist would say, he doesn't really care who uses it for what purposes. It's a true statement and a good statement, and he's going to use it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I didn't know. I just thought, okay, maybe this crown means Christ is King or something like that. Or, maybe I'm going to tell you how confusing this can be. Because there was even the thought in my head of maybe this is like a post-millennial thing where, these are people who kind of have a more theonomic view of things. I had all these thoughts, and I was unsure about what it meant, okay? And then a relatively new one, at least to me. It's one that has been new to me that started popping up was grapes. Okay? So I started seeing all these people with the grapes in their profile picture. And I'm like, what? Or not profile picture, their name, right? So I'm like, what is happening? Because it's people who have, it's a group of people who all have the same thing, and I'm like, what's the grapes? What is going on? And I'm going to tell you my thoughts about this as what like just, and this is why it's dangerous to make assumptions based on emojis in people's profiles, because I was wrong about all of these when I first saw them and tried to guess what it meant. The grapes, when I started seeing them, I was like, okay, most of the people I noticed who had the grapes were not very friendly to Baptists, right? Or at least it seemed that way to me. There may be some Baptists out there with the grapes. So in my head, this is me creating in my head what I thought that meant. I thought it was some way of like poking fun, maybe, at Baptist for like grape juice in communion. Okay. Or something like that. I don't know. I had no clue what it meant. So finally, I guess it was yesterday, I got up the not the courage, but just the curiosity got the best of me. And I posted on X with the badger, the crown, and the grapes, each with a question mark going, what does this mean? What does it mean? I need to know. And I got answers that so far no one has refuted. Some of it was conflicting. And as you can see, there's even a couple of more emojis I put in the deal. The Christmas tree and the axe and all this stuff. And the answers I got were interesting. Okay. So, from what I understand, the answers I've gotten are the Badger are 1689 Baptists who are sort of averse to or have a problem with presuppositional apologetics. Bro, you want to talk about niche? Like, okay, so like more like classical theism, this sort of thing. Um, so yeah, like that's the answer I got. And I was like, okay. The answer I got for the crown was that it's simply Presbyterians. And that one immediately clicked with me. I was like, okay, well that makes total sense because literally all my friends who have that crown in their name are presbys. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I get that. That makes sense. And that one just I don't know. And Cody up, not Cody, Kobe up here at some point. I think he said superior theology. Yeah, there it is. Which is sort of a play off of Keith Foskey's whole thing with the Presbyterians. So maybe that's where, I guess that maybe that's the origin of where that came from. Superior theology, it's kind of fun, just cool. Then we get to the grapes, and when someone explained the grapes to me, it was like it all made sense. That the grapes are some sort of sign of people who are Baxterian in their theology. And if you don't know what that means, this may be like way too niche. I'm still trying to figure out what it means, but I assume it has something to do with Puritan Richard Baxter, and particularly the fact, a little bit of irony there, that he did not hold to a view of the atonement that a lot of other Puritans did, which is namely a definite or limited atonement, but held to something called hypothetical universalism. And I'm not going to get into the details of like all of what these things mean because I'll be honest with you guys. Like I'm still trying to learn about where they're coming from and all this kind of stuff. Uh, yeah, and I see some other, they want to fight that he wasn't a Neonomian, but he was. So yeah, like all kinds of stuff with relation to Richard Baxter, the grapes, which someone I would love some further explanation of why the grapes. Like what's the tie? What's the connection with the grapes? And then the tree, the Christmas tree, I'm still kind of unsure. I saw someone earlier, someone mentioned that the tree has something to do with Christian nationalism, potentially. Yeah, Sean, I think, said the Christmas tree is appeal to heavens equals CN or Christian nationalism. But then I also had someone yesterday tell me that when you have the tree and the axe, and it may not have been the Christmas tree, it may have been a different tree, I don't know, that this is, and this one I kind of pieced together if it's, and again, this was an assumption I made, and I may have been right about it, but then I have other people telling me it means something different, so I don't know. And that is sort of the appeal to the Saint Boniface, the chopping down of the Thor's oak or the idol. You can look at that story. Brian Savay, I think, he has a song about it. So it's like a sea shanty kind of thing. So anyway, all of these things explained to me. And oh, okay, and the Obros said there's a tremendous overlap between this emoji usage and Discord. I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Discord servers real by the way, I do have one for Bibles, books, and theology related things. I am not great at Discord, but we do have fun on there. So if you're interested in that, I have one. You can reach out to me at one of these things, and if you want to get plugged into it. So that's interesting. So the emoji overlap is in Discord. So I get that. All right. So and then Sean said the tree plus the axe is the radical CN is yeah Boniface yeah. So there's all these emojis with all these meanings, and I'm gonna tell you something, and this is maybe a confession of just my own thinking here and where I'm wrong, and where I have been wrong in the past is sometimes I dang it, Tony, you got me, man. Someone needs to put this in their X bio. When I meet an Aryan, Santa Claus plus the fist. If you don't know the story behind that, you need to look it up. It's dang it, Tony, that's so good. I wish I could have thought of that beforehand. That's a great one. So what I was saying is these sort of emoji identifiers at times have made me skeptical of following certain people or befriending certain people when I am on there, just because like, and there is some truth to this. You can sort of understand the kinds of things they're going to post based on these things. And my question, I guess, is that a fair assessment? Like, is that and I'm trying to figure this whole X thing out and understand why this is a thing. And let me say this up front, like this is not me trying to like poo poo on emojis in X accounts. Not at all. This is me trying to understand what in the world is going on. And I get, I say this all the time on X, and I always get older guys who will say, "No, you're not." But I feel so old. Like I'm a millennial, a more towards the tail end of Gen X millennial, so kind of an older millennial. And as a millennial now, I feel so disconnected, just old. So I'm trying to figure these things out. And I just want to kind of share real quickly my experience on X with this kind of stuff has been I've had to learn not to presume upon how much I might get along with someone or enjoy them based off of this kind of stuff. There's sometimes when I think it can be true, but there's certainly some levels of it to where I'm like, there are people I used to avoid certain people on X because of differences that we probably clearly have, right? So example would be something like Christian nationalism. I'm not a CN guy, and a lot of times when I would see people with any sort of CN inklings in their bio, that we can't get along. And I've actually found that not to be true. I may radically disagree with them on how that stuff works itself out, but a lot of these people have been really pleasant, and I may disagree with them on some things, and that's okay. You know, and I think some of this also comes from like who we sort of put on a pedestal that can color our opinion of other people. There was a time back in the day, and I'll get back to my thoughts are a little scattered, so forgive me. There was a time back in the day when X was known for if you had 1689 in your bio, that it had kind of become known as these people are jerks, which spurred on this whole like movement of certain guys saying, I hold to the 1689, but I'm not a jerk about it, or I'm trying not to be a jerk about it, that sort of thing. To just sort of distance and say, hey, not everyone who holds to the Second London Confession is like trying to start Twitter beefs all the time. So back to what I was saying about the people we put on the pedestal, right? There are certain well-known people on social media particularly that I'm more critical of. And because I'm more critical of them, it doesn't mean that I can't get along or even have good discussions with people who don't agree with me. And an example of that is like I'm critical of Joel Webben, just always have been. I think he's dangerous, but that doesn't mean that people who follow him or even engage or whatever, that I can't get along with them in some sense or even have discussions about why we might disagree without trying to hurt each other. You know what I'm saying? I know some people would say it's too much to expect civil discourse on X, and I get that because there's definitely some craziness. But I've found that if you're on X and you don't take yourself too seriously, you take God seriously, but not yourself too seriously, you can have some fun conversations, and you can really connect and get along with people. And so this emoji thing has helped me in some sense, understand people want to kind of identify in these ways and have these other folks that they feel a kinship with or a connection to. That's cool. Like I'm not trying to come down on that. I just didn't know what it meant. And I'm getting better at it. But at the same time, to go back and answer the question of what's up with the kiwi and the swords, this is where I was just like, wouldn't it be funny if I just put something like random in my profile and see if it caught on? And because from my mind, like from the outside looking in, it was like these things didn't make sense. Like these emojis, I didn't understand why they existed. So I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if I just put a random thing and just see if it would catch on and have no like explanation behind it? And here's the thing: the kiwi is what I put at first. And here's the thing: I have attached a meaning to it that I plan to share with no one, just because I want to see what happens, right? But the swords came later. There were a couple of other brothers in under my posts about this who were who put the kiwi in theirs just for fun, and then they were like, "Actually, the kiwi's kind of lame," and that's understandable. That's understandable. And they were like, "What if we changed it to the crossed swords?" And they gave some explanation for reasonings of what the crossed swords might mean or why they're doing it. And eventually, they were like, can we change it to this? I'm like, you guys do whatever this is an experiment. Like, y'all do what you want to do. So they changed it to the crossed sword, and I just out of for fun, I'm like, well, I'll do the cross swords too, but I'm gonna leave my kiwi. So now they have attached a meaning to the cross swords. You'll have to look for that to find that, to see if that's something that you could align with. But the kiwi, that was mine, and there's speculation already about what the kiwi means. I'll just say this to put some of the rumors at rest: I am not from New Zealand, and nor do I have origins in New Zealand. But the kiwi was just for fun. So now, if you have an X account and you want to stand in solidarity with me for something that you can't know what it means, I challenge you to put the kiwi in your profile. and if by chance you happen to see what the other guys were talking about with the cross swords, and you align there too, throw those cross swords in there. Because this is, as the thumbnail suggests, the rise of the kiwi cross sword movement. So that's it. That's the basics of what I wanted to talk about today. So yeah. So we go. Kiwi Bros, I'm in. Yes. Yes. It's catching on. And let me also say this: if you elect not to put the kiwi or cross swords in your profile, I don't care. Like, this has been a social experiment, and I'm trying to figure out what is going on here. So we got the O Bros, the Kiwi Kings. Yeah, yeah. So true, King. So true, King. Yes. Yeah. So I don't care if you do it one way or the other. I just wanted to do a fun sort of social experiment. So now you might know what some of these things mean, and I hope it was helpful for you. Likely, there will be more that we don't get. There will be more that we don't understand. Maybe some of them will see this who had the grapes or the badger or any of it and just be like, "Oh, it's so lame that this dude's talking about it. We're gonna change it." Who knows, right? Who knows? But that's what it is now. And one of the reasons I'll end with this. One of the reasons I was so curious eventually is I noticed the grapes guys were all starting to sort of get around to these debates with people on X about the atonement, about whether or not the atonement was a hypothetical universalism or a definite atonement, or like a limited atonement, as the tulip thing would say. And so when I noticed that all these grapes guys seem to be all for hypothetical universalism, I'm like, what is going on? So I had to ask. And now I know. And now you know. It's about Richard Baxter, supposedly. Also, I could be wrong about all of these and being fed false information, and they could all mean something else. So that's where we're at. I like Ed's comment here. A wheelchair emoji for Joe Thorne and me. Yeah, Ed, why I would need you to explain to me why Joe needs a wheelchair. I would love to know that. Maybe just to not stand but sit in solidarity with you. I don't know. I can't. That makes me kind of want to put one in mine too, to be with you, brother. But so, and Sean said, "Good, because I can never figure out how to add anything anyway." So. All it is just editing like your name and throwing something else on there. But yeah, dude, like I fully affirm anyone's desire to keep emojis out of their name completely as well. So yeah, Tony said he's gonna go with the cross. What is the circle thing? And coffee. Is that supposed to be like the sun? Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, geriatric Joe. That's right. That's right. I understand where you're coming from now. It's getting older. It's okay. That's all right. Empirical Worm, what's up, man? Sorry, brother. I just got here. I have to get caught up. No worries. No worries. Sean said it was hard enough reverting his account to a real name because he used to only be the Deepwater Puritan. Yeah, I get it, man. Yeah, I get it. Tony is definitely not a limited atonement guy. No tulip here. Yeah, we know, Tony. We know you're Wesleyan. It's all right. It's all right. We still love you. Still love you as a brother. I imagine there are plenty of people who might be watching this right now who are not in the tulip game. But yeah, that's the interesting part about this is the grapes guys, the Baxterian stuff. They're kind of on there now, like trying to say that Calvinism, at least in the 5-point paradigm that it's known for today, they're making the argument that it doesn't reflect what Calvin actually taught, and even making the argument that they're trying to say they go back further in church history roots or whatever. So that's why this discussion has come up, and I even saw a X has this thing called Spaces where you can get on there and talk. And I even saw a brother on there who I follow, who's a Scottish brother, who was kind of having like a debate with one of these guys who's all for the hypothetical universalism, and I only saw the part that they clipped out where it painted him in a poor light and them in a great light, and he was like, "Hey guys, at least show the rest of the debate so people get." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on here?" Uh, so I would like to have heard that discussion. In all honesty, like just because I'm curious what they're talking about and why they're talking about it. So yeah, that's it. That's what's been going down, and we don't have to talk about the emojis anymore. Team Kiwi, love it. Uh, Sean says, I think there is an argument that Calvin did move from particular redemption to limited atonement, but he was clearly particular redemption. And see, Sean, maybe this is even where some of my ignorance is showing. You know, is that particular redemption? Is that another name that they use for like a hypothetical universalism type thing? Because I've heard them used synonymously. Particular redemption, definite atonement, limited atonement, all that stuff. I've heard it all used synonymously, and I guess I'm confused, guys. I'm just yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Empirical Worm says, I love all brothers and sisters in Christ, but Calvinism is a big no for me. That's okay, dude. That's all right. As long as, yeah, as long as we can get along and talk and have discussion, then that's no big deal. I realize on YouTube, particularly in my channel, that a lot of people that follow are not going to be in the same theological camp that I am on things, and that's cool. Like, makes for a good discussion sometimes, and as long as we can talk with kindness to one another, hearing one another well, having an agreement on things that are of the utmost importance, I think is good. And when I say things like the utmost importance, I mean like what is the gospel? What is the Christian faith? You know, like from the Nicene Creed and things like that. What the Bible teaches about some of the basics, I think it's good. So let's see. No, it's just that he didn't flip the logic. Okay. So I hear what you're saying. So particular redemption, meaning like a focus on a particular people, but turning that the other way around, of that by definition that would limit the amount of people. Is that, I think I'm smelling what you're stepping in here, I think. So, and I think a lot of us, you know, especially from a Calvinist perspective, if you're talking about limited atonement, sometimes the focus is so much on who gets left out versus how the majesty of who's included and why and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it all out. Empirical Worm says, "Yep, but Calvinism and Arminianism isn't a hill to die on. We're all yeah. There's definitely room for discussion here. This has been an in-house debate for Christians for quite a while, so it's nothing new." Ed says, "I don't like emojis. People know where I stand." In quotes. Oh, I love you, bro. Ed, you're such a good sport, dude. You're so much fun. So you don't like emojis. Not going to happen. See, for us, limited atonement equals particular redemption, but we need to be careful to not assume later assumptions were held earlier, is what I mean. Yeah, it's making sense to me, Sean. I appreciate it, man. That's making a lot more sense. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. And we got a John Wesley quote from Tony, no surprise. In essentials, unity, and non-essentials, liberty, and in all things, charity, John Wesley. Yeah, and you can look back at some of the historical discussions that happened even with Wesley and some of his peers about their disagreements here, it it was more cordial. And of course, we have a lot of these things on X is where a lot of the divide can happen, not just on the issue of soteriology, but like baptism. All these things can come up, and I, by the way, I've created a new deal for the merch store called, and it says "Stop Baptist Hate," and it's got Spurgeon inside of an octagon with his hand up and a cigar in his hand. I thought it was pretty funny. So because on X there's a lot of Baptist bashing, and I know some of it is all fun and games and good sport, and some of it is genuinely concerning, and I still try to view it more lightheartedly. But man, yeah, it can get real out there. I often question my decision to to be on X as much as I have been lately, and that's the great thing about social media too, guys. Is you can use it or don't use it. There's no requirement. You can take it or leave it. So, anywho, what else do y'all want to talk about for the next 15 or so minutes? Because we don't have to, or we could keep going on this topic because yeah, it is. Oh, thanks, Ed. That's real sweet of you, bro. You make it better. That's so sweet, dude. Thanks, man. I try to engage with all sorts of people on there, in ways that I can align with them or even just joke or have fun. I try to do that. So, and Ed, honestly, bro, I've seen you do that too. When you can engage kind of with someone who's gotten a lot of criticism for something, I've seen you engage with them on other things that you may not agree with them on, kind of what they're doing. I try to model that as well. Tony just said something interesting, and I didn't realize this was a thing. This is news to me. So, as a Free Methodist, I am a Credo Baptist, not a Pedo Baptist. Dude, that's fascinating to me, Tony. And what that tells me also is there's still a lot I don't know about different forms of Methodism. That's fascinating. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm I appreciate you saying that. That helps me learn. Wow, every Methodist I've ever known has been Pedobaptist. So I don't know. That's interesting to me. Very interesting. Bible tidbits. What's up, bro? This brother again. Shout out this brother every time. It is criminal that his channel does not have more subscribers. Puts out great content. If you like Bibles and you like seeing different editions of the Bible or Bible talk, this brother puts out good stuff. Says I haven't been attacked much lately. The KJV onlyists have been coming for me. You have or haven't been attacked? I'm confused. But dude, I know how that is. On YouTube especially. I think that KJV onlyists just look for channels that talk about the Bible so that they can go in there and say whatever they want to say about the KJV and call all the other Bibles all the names they want to. It's wild. I know this may be distracting to you guys. I'm sorry. This shirt is like stained with something, and I know it kind of drives me crazy too, but it's one of my comfy shirts that I like to wear, so just have to deal with it. Tony says FMC USA permit both forms of baptism. FMC UK were Credo Baptist. Interesting. He said probably sits better with me as a former Free Will Baptist. That's interesting, man. I'm intrigued. I want to look into that more. That's fascinating. Ron says this is all new to me, all of this, but I'm not on X either. Yeah, you know what? That's okay. That's all right, man. Um, X is not everyone's cup of tea. If you go into it, think like the only way to survive on X, I'm convinced, is to have thick skin and go into it without taking yourself too seriously, and just try to have fun with it rather than get too. If you let stuff on X get you too heated, you'll lose your mind. So that'd be my little tidbit of advice. Hey, speaking of tidbit, here's Bible tidbits. Only attacked by KJV onlyists. Okay, only. They've only been attacking you. The KJV onlyist. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, you're welcome, brother. Yeah, man. Like I'm familiar with that rhetoric. It's and here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much you try to convince them that you do love the KJV, because I do genuinely love the KJV. I've been reading it this year devotionally, and my love for it has only increased. But if you use anything else, then you're going to hear from them. It's just going to happen. Empirical Worm says, what's everyone's favorite Bible translation? Mine so far is the ESV. Yeah, I'm probably right there with you, Empirical Worm. I love the ESV. It's been a lot of fun to use. It's been my heart translation, and it's what I preach from and teach from. It's what our church uses. I love it. There are other ones I do enjoy quite a bit as well, like the NASB 95. I like the New King James Version. The CSB is cool as well. It's not like my main deal, but a lot of people out there are loving the CSB. So, yeah, there's a few. Sean says, I take everything seriously. That's right. Like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. See, Twiceborn says, I know a lot of people use the NIV, but I hate when people bash it, calling it the nearly inspired version. Yeah, or no, not a lot of people. You know, that's interesting, because I think Twiceborn, there are a lot of people who use it. It just kind of depends on what church and what context and things like that. So, yeah, but it's not my favorite. But I wouldn't bash it. Are there things about it that I don't care for as much? Yeah. But would I be able to read it and see that this is the Word of God? Yeah, I think so. Sean says he prefers the LSB and the CSB next. Yeah, that's right, brother. I know you're a LSB guy. That's another one I want to give a more in-depth read at some point. The LSB is very cool to me. It's fascinating to me. A lot of people have turned to it, and it looks awesome. And I have, I don't know, there's some things about it that'll be hurdles for me. You know, as cool as the Yahweh sacred name there is, sometimes I find that to be a little kind of jarring, where I'm like, So I don't know. But I'm interested in learning more, and reading more from it. Tony says the FMC equals two sacraments, baptism and communion. I probably lean more towards a memorialist view of communion than most in the FMC. That's interesting. Most people, and this shows you some of the variance here. A lot of people would look at Baptists and think that we're more of a memorialist view of the Lord's Supper, which I'm actually not. Being, the Second London Confession articulates it pretty well, but I believe in spiritual presence in the Lord's Supper. So that Christ is present with us spiritually, and there is actually a means of grace happening there. But that's interesting, dude. I'll have to check out some more about that. Godwire says NASB 9577, not the 2020. Yeah, I love the 95. I have a copy of the 77. Haven't spent a lot of time with it. And the 2020, it definitely gets a lot of criticism. And I just reviewed a 2020 NASB, and now I'm curious about it. And I'll tell you why in a second when I get to Kobe's comment, because I want to hear what he has. I would love to hear more from you, Kobe, if you want to elaborate some more about what you said. Tony is a lover of the CSB and the NIV 84, John Wesley's New Testament translation. Okay, yeah, that tracks. And I know Tony has expressed his love for the CSB quite a bit. Yeah, see, here's Sean. This is what I was thinking, Sean. The NIV is still the most sold non-KJV Bible, but I never see anyone using it. Yeah, I find that interesting, and I think because I from looking at the literature on it, not literature, the statistics and things I've seen, the NIV is still very popular, but I don't see a ton of people using it either. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. Here's what Kobe said, and this is what I'm interested in. Kobe says that he's about to go all in on the NASB 2020, and this is one of the things I'm learning from other brothers. Kobe is one of them, but other brothers who also have Bible review channels on YouTube, like Joe from Joe's Bibles. Great channel, by the way. If you've not subscribed to Joe's Bibles, check it out. It's good. Joe loves the NASB 2020, and he's been reading through it. And I'm curious to read through it now and see what's up with it, because I see these trusted brothers of mine, or at least guys who I think are more like-minded in a lot of things, are using it and loving it and thinking it's a great translation. So it just makes me want to give it more of a fair shake, I guess. So let's see. Twiceborn said, I've been studying from the KJV and reading the same chapter in the ESV. Nice. Yeah, so you get kind of a both and situation there. Tony says, okay, with anything but the NRSVUE, the updated edition. Yeah, I understand. ESV 2016 LSB Passion so the past, did you intentionally put the Passion transgression or the message? I'm not a fan of the Passion translation, and I kind of like that it says transgression there, but it's just me. Tried reading the message, but only got as far as the mess. That's good. That's good. Ron says, I use the ESV Study Bible, but my preferred is the Ryrie Study Bible, NASB 95. Okay. Yeah, the NAS 95 is a great translation for sure. Kobe, here's some more emphasis. I think a lot of the hate that the 2020 gets is from folks who haven't truly read it. Not saying that's true of you, Godwire, but there are people out there who just jumped on the hate bus. Yeah, and Kobe, I think one of the reasons for that, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here, I could be wrong. So I think one of the reasons why maybe the 2020 got just sort of overlooked, there are two things that come to mind. One is that the LSB was announced, and so people saw that, the more conservative John MacArthur is not a fan of the 2020 update, and he's going to go and produce this translation. So maybe we should stay away from the 2020. And then I also think with the use of the CSB being out there, which has, as far as the way it does gender and things like that, very similar vibe to the 2020 from what I've heard and seen a couple of examples of, that maybe that sort of pushed the, I don't know, the people away from it. So that's just a couple of my potential explanations for why. Let's see. Tony says, I think most of our church are NIV. Okay. Okay. And Ed says the wider evangelical world uses NIV. Reformed and Calvinist circles, not so much. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. I can see that. I can see that. Twiceborn said, I wish Joe would post more. Yeah, from Joe's Bibles. The stuff he makes is excellent, but I respect his pace. I think Joe's probably figured out what works best for him and his rhythm of life, and just kind of doing that. I don't know, but he does make excellent content. Joe's a cool dude. Let's see. Yeah, Tony says he's read both and prefers the 95. And I think this is a lot of people right now. Kobe said, I think that's fair. I just don't like it when people don't like something but can't give you a reason. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the 2020 has gotten some of that pushback without really people investigating it as much. And so I'm definitely curious. Let's see. Bible Tidbit says, the more I use the LSB, the more I like it. Still can't pull myself away from being an ESV guy, though. CSB is one I like, too, especially when I'm doing ministry with children. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, I can totally see that, man. Yeah, and the LSB intrigues me. I think I would have a hard time still leaving the ESV, and honestly, the reason is just because I'm so used to the way it reads and the flow of thought and things like that, that I would have a hard time with it. Sean says, I don't hate the NASB 2020. I don't buy it as woke or any such nonsense, but when I read it, I feel like when someone watches a sequel, gets done, and says, ... Oh, there it is. That's a good movie, but it's not a good insert franchise name movie. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I want to give it more attention to form a better opinion about it, but I could see that for sure. Once I finish reading the ESV, I'm going to switch to a different translation and read it too. Empirical Worm, man, that's a good idea. I do that often. So my pattern has been, I'll read through a different translation, and then I'll read through the ESV because it's familiar, it's comforting. So I'll just kind of go in between. So when I finish my KJV read through, I'm likely going to return to the ESV and do a read through of it again, and then I'll pick something else, possibly the NASB 2020 or the LSB or something like that. So, yeah. Tony said, just got a new NIV for my birthday, NIV Lectio. Yeah, you were telling me about that the other night. That edition looks pretty cool. I'm curious about it. Let's see. Yeah, and Sean mentioned another similar thing. We use the CSB with our teens. Yeah, totally can see that. Twice born. I don't read the LSB because it reminds me of LSU. Oh no. College football beef or something going on here. Go Dogs. Yep, that's what it is. Y'all are college footballing it out over there. Like I said in a comment of another video, I feel a lot happier with the 2025 changes to the ESV. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. My preaching Bible is still a 2016, and it's just too nice for me to give it up. and it's still so similar that I don't plan on it. So, but the 2025, I like some of the changes for sure. So, Ed says, "What's your favorite version to memorize?" Mine's definitely ESV has been. It's what's in my brain, man. That's just what I've memorized from. So, yeah. Sean says, "My wife and I read different translations each year for our devotions. This year is the KJV Beaky Bible." Yeah, that's what I'm reading as my daily devotional sort of Bible. So I've been enjoying it. It's been a good time. It's been a good time. Well, guys, I've got to call it because I've got a meeting to get to here in about a few minutes. So, but it's been real. It's been fun. Thanks for entertaining my curiosity about emojis on X, and it's been fun convo. Why did I say that weird? Fun convo. A fun convo. So appreciate you guys watching and commenting and interacting. It always is cool to get to actually talk with you guys in some sense. It's not the same as like face to face or even like a Zoom call, but it's been fun. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now. Thank y'all. You've been a blast. I'll catch you sometime next week, I'm sure. Y'all have a good day.